Okay, bore da pawb. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this multi-location meeting of the Environment, Regeneration and Street Scene Services Scrutiny Committee on the 14th of July 2023. I'm Councillor Sean Percy, and I'll be chairing the meeting today. Can I just remind everyone to ensure their phones are on silent for the duration of the meeting? I'm just going to check mine now. In addition, if you wish to indicate to speak, please raise your electronic hand or your hand in the chamber. And also just to note that agenda item 14 of the pack today, which is the private report relating to the proposed Neath wind farm development, has been deferred from this meeting due to the need for further consideration of this report. So we'll not be looking at that report today. For the purposes of declarations, I'd like to confirm we'll be scrutinising items 9 and 11A on the Cabinet papers, and we'll also be looking at items 4 and 9 on the scrutiny papers as well. So I'll now move on to declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? Councillor Goodall-John.
I've got a personal interest, Chair. I work for Transport for Wales with regards to the private item.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. I understand you've had confirmation from the legal officer that you're fine to speak on that item as well. Great, thank you. Are there any other declarations from members?
I see no other indications, Chair. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that was just a message in the chat. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, so we'll now move on to agenda item 3, which is the minutes on pages 5 to 8 of the scrutiny papers. Can I have a proposal and a seconder to move that they're an accurate record, please?
I propose, Chair.
You, Councillor Tim Bowen.
Happy to second, Chair.
Seconded, Councillor Goodall-John, thank you. So I'll now move on to agenda item 4, which is on pages 9 to 16 of our pack, which is active travel. Before we go to questions, do officers have anything additional to add to the report today?
Chair, just to advise the scrutiny committee members and the cabinet, you will be aware that there have been some organisational changes within the Environment Directorate that came into being from the April the 1st this year, whereby the active travel functions have been consolidated within my service portfolio area. You will recall that previously the active travel network map and policy driven elements of it were undertaken by my colleague Kerry Morris in planning, and that we have now integrated the functions within the engineering consultancy area. And we have Amanda Phillips and Hassan on the call today as well, who will be more involved now in active travel going forward. So this is a bit of a transition report. It covers obviously last year and how we intend to move forward. So that's all I wanted to mention today, Chair, and we'll be happy to take any queries on the report.
Okay, thank you for the introduction there. I do have a couple of indications and questions. First one is Councillor Goldup-John, which is in relation to, I think, the 5-year plan.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Thank you for the report, officers. It's really appreciated, very detailed. I appreciate that. It's just with regards to the corporate plan where we set out recently the need to produce a 5-year plan with regards to active travel within Neath Talbot. This should include obviously ambitions on increasing the active travel network, namely with segregated cycle paths, better crossings for pedestrians, walkers and wheelers, increased seating in Neath Talbot, and other interventions that encourage people to walk and wheel through the borough. So I was just wondering, and it's okay if there's not an answer now, but when we would be likely to see that 5-year plan. Thank you.
Dave,
Thank you,
picking
Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Perhaps I could ask Amanda to update in that respect. I am aware that we have got some challenges at the moment in terms of the plan. Members may be aware that there are short-term, medium-term and long-term plans. And to be honest, we have been trying to establish how, from that plan, we actually prioritize the program. So I will hand over now to Amanda so that she can perhaps explain in a little more detail for you.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Yeah, as Dave mentioned, we've got something like 400 and odd active travel routes on our active travel network maps, and 100 and something of those have been prioritised as high priorities. So it's really difficult then to determine which of the high priorities we need to look at first. But we are aware that Transport for Wales are looking at a system that'll prioritise them a bit better. They're only split into 3 categories at the moment, so they'll be splitting them into 5. And when we get that information, then we'll be able to start developing the plan.
Okay, happy that's on.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. Thanks.
Okay, I've got another question from Councillor Cathy James, which I think was in relation to promotion.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Yes, just a broad point. It was really great to see the report, and it's lovely to see what's happening. I think it's really important that this is promoted effectively, though. It's great doing this work, but the public really need to be aware of it. A bit of a technical point, but I went to have a look at the active travel map that was mentioned in the report, and I don't know if any of you have actually clicked on that link, but it takes you to the Data Wales map, and there's no key, there's no explanation to how it works. It's really not obvious what you're looking at. Now, if you go one page up in the hierarchy, that's where the key is, the information is, and there's also a link you can click on directly to take you to the Neath Talbot page. So I think it's probably worth adjusting the link from our website to that different page. If you want me to send you the link through to it, I can do. It wasn't difficult to find, though. You just remove the very end of the address in the bar at the top. But I think that would make it a bit easier. That's a very simple step to take. Thanks.
May I pick up on that, Chair?
Yeah, thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you for your comments, Councillor James. And yes, we will adjust the web page. It's pointless people going through if they don't understand what the key is on the maps. This needed to be done. With regards to promotion, it is something that we've tried to find different ways to promote, and we appreciate that it's really important. And just so members are aware, we're intending on going to the Talbot Open Day on the 2nd of August. So we'll be having a table there to try and reach out to more people. So we are trying to think of different ways that we can promote the schemes. But if anyone's got any suggestions, then we're more than happy to try and incorporate different ideas into the promotion. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda and Cathy, for that. Oh, Dave, did you want to come in? Sorry.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just to add on the promotion, we also take the opportunity when our road safety teams and primary education teams are out in all of the schools where they're undertaking their walking, cycling training and young people scooter training to actively promote walking and cycling. So that is embedded within that road safety team's work as well. So we're able to get to sort of over a 12-month period, they get into practically every primary school, and we undertake works with the secondary education sector as well. So that is a good opportunity as well, where we're trying to promote the use of walking and cycling. Thank you, Chair.
Fantastic, thank you. I've got an indication from Councillor Roslyn Davis. Ros?
I'm just wondering whether it would be a good thing to give all this information to community councils who could promote it. as well?
Yes, by all means, Councillor Davis. The more people we can get engaged in promoting the benefits of an active life and walking and travelling, so we can share the information we have with the town councils, and maybe we can, once we've sorted out the link with our IT colleagues, we could also ask them to share it, or indeed, if they have got town council websites, they may be able to add that link to theirs, which will direct them into our Neath Talbot site as well. So we'd be happy to do that, Councillor Davis, by all means.
Good, diolch yn fawr.
Fantastic, thank you. I've got a question myself now, just coming back to the staffing and sort of structure. During the budget setting process for this year, there was some funding allocated for 2 additional posts for active travel. I just wonder if we could have an update as to where we are with recruitment into those posts. If you could take that, please. Thank you.
Okay. Hassan, would you like to answer around that, please? Or
yeah,
for the update?
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Dave. Yeah, we employed Laura Park on the 5th of June to start to be the active travel manager, and we are in the middle of a process of appointing an active travel officer, but at the moment it's being job evaluated and taking a bit longer than what we expected.
Okay, thanks for that, Hassan. I've got just a follow-up really in terms of the extra budget has been allocated for the 2 posts, and this sort of reorganization has kind of happened at the same time. I understand Laura was doing work in the policy team previously. So is this role now, does that encompass that work in the highways team effectively?
Yes.
Okay, so in terms of the overall picture, is that an additional role then, or is that just the role moving over from planning into the? I'm just trying to get clarity really on that side of it.
Oh, sorry, Kerry, do you want to come in on that point?
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Thank you, Chair. It's just to clarify really that yeah, obviously it's Laura Pack has moved now as Hassan has indicated, so that has left what was Laura's old post now currently vacant within the policy team. Now, the policy team will continue with obviously the LDP program, and part of that is there is a transport and active travel related portfolio with that team. So obviously Lana now will need to look to replace Laura in that team, and moving forward, undoubtedly there will still be necessary communication and close working between the two teams, but ultimately all of what Laura's work that she covered in terms of the active travel element now has gone across to Dave and Hassan and Amanda's team.
Okay, thanks for that clarity. So I suppose we're sort of a net gain of 1 officer overall in terms of active travel specifically, rather than 2, because that other post is actually just moved across. Okay, thank you. That's helpful. I don't have any other questions that I've been indicated to before in the pre-briefing. Do any other members have anything to add before?
Could I just come in on one point as well, Councillor? Sorry, Chair, Councillor Percy. The other thing about the active travel roles are that obviously our intention is to try and obviously respond to the plan and implement more schemes on the ground. Now, within the consultancy service area, Hassan has got a number of engineers that will support that function. And as and when, if with the additional post, if we're successful in securing grant, which we hope we are, then the consultancy staff will support that active travel role. So you could end up, if we're very successful, we will manage the resource and move engineering consultancy staff to help deliver that work as well. The other thing is, after a 2-year period, the financing around this is intended to be self-sufficient. Now I've highlighted concerns around this to my colleagues in central finance. Clearly we will generate income, but I have highlighted that I'm not certain that it would be fully 100% recoverable. So it could result in a financial pressure, but we will have to monitor that over the next sort of 24 months. So just to make Scrutiny members aware of that funding position around the two posts.
No, thank you. That is quite helpful, because I certainly don't recall when we went through the budget setting process that there was any sort of time limit to the funding of those roles. It was placed in as I think an investor save initiative, but
Yeah.
I understood it was in the base budget, so it's not in the base budget for the department, is it?
It's not in the base budget. However, there is a commitment by central finance that if we're not able to fully recover the costs, that would be dealt with as part of any pressures coming forward. So the intention is that the posts that we've created are permanent posts. They're not on a temporary basis, and that would need to be dealt with like any other pressure coming forward within the Environment Department.
Fantastic, thank you, that's helpful. Okay, so in the absence of any other questions then, I'll just, this report is for information, therefore we note the report. So we'll now move to the Cabinet agenda for pre-decision scrutiny. So as previously mentioned, we decided to scrutinise items 9 and 11A on the Cabinet agenda pack. And then we'll be later returning to the scrutiny agenda for private items as well. So I'll now take members to agenda item 9, which is the Streetscene capital funding 23-24, which is on pages 59-68. Officers, before I go to questions, do you have anything to add to the report? See, I don't know who's nothing to add. Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
Sorry, Dave, did you want to come in?
No, sorry, I didn't see if Steve Owen was in the chamber then, but I think Mike Roberts is unable to join us today. I don't think there's anything further to add to the report, Chair.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and Steve is here. That's great. I'll go to Councillor Cathy James for the question.
Thanks, Chair. Sorry, I've lost where I am in my notes. Right, we're on the environment street scene improvements. It's not great, really, that half of the money in this budget isn't being spent on the environment and street scene improvements. It's been allocated to the Highway and Engineering Works programme. I understand it's necessary, it's essential work, but it's more from the way it looks. I think next year in the budget we need to be more careful in terms of how things are worded and how things are allocated, because certainly anybody looking at this saying, oh yes, £500,000 is being spent on environment and street scene improvement, they're not going to be expecting it to go on repairing the road. So I don't know if it's worth for the next budget just subsuming it all back into the Highway and Engineering Works programme, or making a more realistic allocation between the two. Like I said, it's an issue of how it looks as much as anything else.
Thanks, Cathy. I don't know if anyone wants to come back on that point.
Certainly, if Steve is not not commenting, perhaps in Michael's absence, I could say that we'll take that on board. The point is noted that clearly in terms of presentation or the perception from perhaps a public perspective is that it's getting spent on highways. Obviously a very necessary element and is priority work within the overall highways programme. But yeah, we absolutely note your point, and we'll take that back and see how it could be presented in future. I mean, things may change next year as well by the time they've done the assessments as they go in towards the autumn. No doubt there will be new priorities emerging as well, and my colleagues in street care have the envious task of trying to come up with a prioritised programme, and which is very challenging for them. So that's all I'd like to add, Chair.
No, thank you for that. And I think it just appears, doesn't it, that's been used as a sort of contingency for the highways budget. And I think if that needs to be built in, then yeah, absolutely fine. So thanks for the clarity there. I don't think I've had any other questions on this particular item. So members, the recommendations are listed on page 62 of the Cabinet Agenda Pack. Can I have a proposer and a seconder, please?
Propose, Chair.
So Tim Bowen propose. Can I have a seconder?
Happy to second, Chair.
Called up John, thank you. If members do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it this decision is supported to Cabinet.
I see no indications to the contrary, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, so that's supported to Cabinet then. Okay, so I'll now move on to item 11A, which is the addition to street care fees and charges 2023-24, which is pages 1 to 10 of supplementary papers. We had one question here from Councillor Rosalind Davis, which I think was to clarify whether this was an increased charge or a new charge. I think was it Ros, or a new service?
Yes, I wasn't sure.
I'm not sure if somebody can pick that up.
Thank you, Councillor. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Councillor Davis, for the question. It is a new charge. It's a charge for any commercial operation that may want to use the Britain Ferry site. Householders can carry on using the recycling centres in Britain Ferry free of charge, but this charge is a new charge, but it's specifically for arboriculturists or landscapers who may wish to use a facility, and we haven't been able to offer that facility until now. So it is a new charge, not an amended charge.
Okay, diolch.
No, thanks for that. I think yeah, it was clarity that it was a new service. So that's helpful. Thanks. Yeah, I've got a question from Councillor Tim Bowen as well.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Can you just clarify where they've been taking this waste up until now?
Well, any waste that ends up in the recycling centres goes to any one or numerous composting facilities in South Wales. The most recent outlet is a facility called MD Recycling, for example. Now, I'm unable to comment on where commercial customers take their compostable waste to. If it ends up in one of our facilities, I can certainly find out where it ended up for further treatment. But where they're taking it to at the moment, I'm unable to comment on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks officers and members for that. Recommendations are listed on page 4 of the supplementary reports pack. Can I have a proposal and seconder, please?
Propose, Chair.
Councillor Tim Bowen, thank you. And a seconder?
Happy to second, Chair.
So Nathan Goldup John, thank you. If members do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take it this decision is supported to Cabinet.
I see no indications to the contrary, Chair.
Thank you. That decision is supported then. Okay, so I'll now move on to agenda item 6, which is urgent items. We have no urgent items on the public reports today. And then agenda item 7 is the forward work programme and committee action log, which is on pages 17 to 22. Unless members have any comments to make, this item is just for noting. Members will be aware that we've been working on our forward work programme. We had a workshop a few weeks ago. It's still an ongoing process, and items are going to be added to that now over certainly for the next meeting agenda. But if members have any items they wish to raise or add to the work programme, they can always contact myself or Councillor Tim Bowen at any time. So I'll move on to says to meeting. So it's at this point now that we need to move into private session. So I just need to ask members if they're in agreement to move into private session. I'm happy to propose that, but I need a seconder, please.
Second, Chair.
Councillor Tim Bowen. Okay, so members, if you don't indicate to the contrary by raising your hands, I'll assume you're in favour of moving into private session.
I see no indications to the contrary, Chair.
Okay, Chloe, can you confirm the recording stopped?